On the side notes, fucking, what is it, Fast 8 with The Rock pulled in over $1 billion in revenue for the box office.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. And fucking, obviously, the big news being Guardians of the Galaxy 2 did very well for itself. I think they pulled in, what was it, 400,000?
Wow.
400 mil, sorry. So not thousand, Jesus Christ. 400 mil from the initial box office and stuff like that, so it's doing pretty well. But yeah, did you get a chance to see the Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
No, I haven't seen it yet. But I want to see it. I watched a few Batista interviews for, did you hear the Batista interview on Chris Jericho?
I was taking a look at that, and I haven't gotten a chance.
It's great. It was great. Excellent. I mean, I already like Batista. I like him even more. Every time I hear him talk now in the last couple of years, his interviews are fantastic. Very revealing, not afraid. He even said, he misses the wrestling fans, he misses the boys, but does not miss the company and their bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And Chris didn't wasn't, towing the company line either. He was just like, it was a very revealing interview. Anybody who hasn't heard it, check out Batista's latest interview with Chris Jericho. Great interview. Batista comes off excellent. I've never seen so many props given to Batista from people who, the usual YouTube people below. You're going to see a lot of hate, but sure. I think it was like 90% positive for Batista. It was really like, everyone's like, I love this guy now. I love how outspoken he is. Fuck WWE. Because he said he wants to come back and all he wants to do is a program with Triple H. And they go, nah, that's not a good idea. He goes, why is it not a good idea? We have history and evolution. I left here on bad terms with Triple H when I last left this company. Did you pick up where I go with Triple H? We go at it, WrestleMania. Let's do it. I'm in a major movie now. It's a good thing. Even Chris Jericho's like, do you really have to, at this point, Dave, he says, with your success, do you have to beg to get back in the WWE? They should be welcoming you with open arms. Like Chris Jericho's even like, at this point, like with your success and Guardians of the Galaxy, you would think they would open arms to this. This is, even Jericho was kind of like perplexed that Vince and Triple H didn't think it was a good idea.
Right.
Yeah. Probably because Triple H would have to put him over.
Well, the silliest thing too is, and we brought this up before, is like, man, you think WWE would have really wanted to attach themselves to the Guardians of the Galaxy thing, especially after they fucked up and missed it the first one? Because, like you brought up before, nobody ever even expected Guardians of the Galaxy 1 to blow up as big as it did. Yeah. But Guardians of the Galaxy 2, you thought, I don't know, I would have expected WWE to have brought Dave in for something. He's listen, he's not on the Rock's level, but he's, like I said, when in annals of history, he'll go down as the second most successful man to ever leave wrestling and go into an outside entity like the movies and stuff and be successful. I don't understand. This is money. Wrestling fans like comic books, like these kind of things, Marvel, DC, whatever. It's the connection is so obvious. That's why in Comic-Con they have wrestlers. It goes like peanut butter and jelly. I don't understand how they don't see that as money. Or maybe because Dave is – I don't even say Dave is demanding because they don't like the way Dave talks about the company outside. Remember the time he was snippy with Stephanie on Twitter and he fired back about her not letting anybody ever get a receipt. She smacks guys in the face and they never pay her back. Yeah. So I think there's a little digs that he's taken at them, and I think they're annoyed at Dave. But he's gotten a lot of respect from the fans, and I think even everyone said everyone's going to put that last stint that he did in the WWF behind him if he ever WWE behind him when he ever comes back, and he'll get a rousing ovation. I think the next time he comes back because people know the real deal of what went down with that whole thing and how he really feels about it. People are all in tune with it now, especially in social media, the internet. Everyone's got the real story now. He just came back at a bad time because of the Daniel Bryan thing, but that's old news. I think if he ever came back today, heel or babyface, he'd get a big pop. And his success is undeniable outside of wrestling. I don't know why they won't do it. I think, like he said, his idea is a feud with Triple H, which, culminates in one of the big pay-per-views. He even said it wasn't important to him. If he got over, he got over. If he had to put Triple H over, so be it. But he would close out his career that way and then officially retire. It's all on Chris Jericho's podcast. Yeah, his total plan. He mapped it out for Vince, and he said at first they were receptive to it, and then it's just like, we'll get back to you about it. Like they blew him off. Chris Jericho goes, they blew you off? Jericho was funny. He's like, really? At this point, like with all the success you have, the WWE doesn't think it's, you're anything to have to contend, to deal with. They're embarrassed by it.
They thought. I think they thought Dave would fail when he left. I think they saw him. If you guys remember, Batista went into MMA, had the one fight. he won, but it was against a big overweight guy. He got tagged a bunch of times. Then he tried some other things, but then the acting thing just started to snowball.
Right.
But I think they thought he would fall on his face, like 95% of the people who leave the company. The only people who haven't fallen on their face, we can name them one hand: The Rock, Trish Stratus, Batista, and maybe there's a couple other people. Maybe
Yeah.
I mean, but not too many. Not too many. I don't think they thought that Batista was going to be a big. I don't think they wanted him to suffer or have some horrible life. But I think that they're shocked that this guy, because he doesn't exactly have a Rock-like personality, but he's actually very entertaining, Batista. He's not as out there as Rock. He's not as charming, but he's got a coolness about him. And even during the interview, you could see people enjoy interviewing him. Every interview I watch with him online, he gets more and more comfortable. He gets better and better. And I even say he doesn't need wrestling, but he does want to come back one more time. But it's not on his terms because he thinks he's a big shot. He just wants it to make sense, and he doesn't want to have that horrible situation that happened a few years ago.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. He's just watching out. He thinks his legacy is solid. He thinks he could be. Even Chris Jericho said, "Well, you're a Hall of Famer." He's like, "Am I? Yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I'm not." He goes, "It's up to them to think if I am, and if they don't want me to be, then I won't be." He goes, "But it's what the fans think." He just says, "I really don't want to work with that company again." He's putting down the company, i.e., putting down, the McMahons. More than McMahons, because he was putting Triple H over as a worker, and he thinks he can have an epic match with him at one of the big pay-per-views. But for some reason, they don't think it's a good idea. But why? Why did he think it was a good idea with Sting, but not with Batista?
I don't know.
Maybe you're right. Maybe some jealousy.
Fucking weird fact though too, and I actually posted it earlier, but I had to retract it. But Batista has drawn more money in movies than The Rock domestically, with the exception of one Rock movie, which was Fast 5. But Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy 2 have both drawn more money domestically than even Fast 8. Fast 8 did $1 billion, but like 900 million of it was international. Only like 100 million nationally. So it's kind of weird to think that on a case-by-case basis, Batista is more recognizable than The Rock currently as his characters.
Wow, that's something.
Yeah. So, I mean, there you go. There's your black eye for you.
We are building a religion. We are building it bigger. We are widening the corridors and adding more lanes. We are building a religion.